There we go. Well, okay,
Look
there
at
we
that.
go.
Experimenting.
The banner now dangs over Moser a little bit. So, all right.
Story of my life be brought in just to be tossed out.
Yeah.
Good was it?
Oh no, it's not. Oh, man.
He's the bushwhacker Luke of the bowling alley.
Wait a minute, sweetheart. I thought you were the girl that I sent an invitation to that paid the $20. I saw the hair in the head. Oh, Mr. Bowling.
Ah, yes.
You can start the show with us too, then. Fuck, yeah, we're all in here. I guess people are going to have to expand their screen. Can you imagine if the other 5 people come in not invited? It's going to be fucked up. So it's 8:04. We'll wait for it to say 8:05. Then we'll go live. And I'm going to see how bad Jaguars killed my ratings. So, yeah, Christopher only does the big shows now because he doesn't want to lose his fucking.
Don't lose his spot.
Lose his viewership. Yeah, because the last 2 shows he's done, we had 34,000 views and I think 12,000 views. And then he did his own thing and got about 9,000 vieys when he ratted out Cornette and let Jimmy know his ass was grass. So, all right, we're getting ready to go live. So we're going to act all like good Christians here, and we're going to do a show here. And
you never said that. What the fuck?
I'm great. It's great that Jaguar is dead center, being as it's his show tonight.
Right there.
So here we
go. The RBD thumbs.
So you just see it here. I'll introduce. Well, there we go.
Look at that. We're live.
That was the longest delayed "You Are Live" that I've ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first ever / the bowling alley / Jiggy Jaguar show ever.
Yes.
Probably going to be the last one, but we're doing this tonight. We got John Moser. John, where are you? Introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from.
Hi there, John Moser here. Huge fan of Mr. Bowling. And Wichita, Kansas. I'm just south of Jiggy.
I was hoping you'd get that big fan of bowling thing in. I was hoping for that.
I've actually got some old OVW on behind me.
Yeah, I see that.
That you were involved with.
I'm shocked that's not on a black
and
white.
That's from 99.
Is that 99? That's at the old arena then, and that was when we started the contract. What matches on there?
Give me a sec here.
This is a live, one of those where they do commentary over the matches. I guess that's what this is. So here we go. Is that on a black and white box? What's that damn thing on? Well, watch me not even be in that.
Yeah,
watch him not even be.
This is the one where Cornette came back and fired you as the color commentator.
Oh, that was a huge mistake. That was a big
that episode.
Yeah, that was a fuck up. But then again, it led me to manage all those great stars like Alberto Durand and Christian Slater and wait a minute, John Cena. See, I'm getting old. I forgot who I managed. Christian. I don't think I managed Christian. And I don't even know who Alberto Duran is. I just made that up.
He's a bus driver somewhere.
He is well, and I'm sure he's a fine.
Alberto Duran was a great boxer, but
that's right. Duran's younger brother.
Let's see here. Now let's go to Hazelwood's been in here before. Uncle Bob. We can bring Uncle Bob in. AKA Stephen King, by the way. Everybody
Sometimes
thinks
called
like
that,
Stephen King. He has actually signed books and autographs under the name of Stephen King when he goes to bookstores. Sometimes. Got to show my mugs off here. Charlie Karma Smith got me a shitload. I did a video about it. Some of you saw it, where I opened up a surprise box and had all these Cincinnati Reds gifts in it. And he got me a couple of Cincinnati cards. This one here is a Cincinnati Reds mug, but you turn it around and it says Bowling. Isn't that pretty cool?
Look at that.
Bowling is so big that you cannot set this cup in any direction and actually read the whole name. But fortunately, the Cincinnati Reds logo on the back, you can see.
It's the sense of Bowling Reds.
Yeah. And so we have Stephen King / Bob Hazelwood in here. My matter of fact, has helped me out a lot with StreamYard and has come up with a lot of the banners that we use on the show as well. There might be a reason. Okay, there we go. I thought maybe I'd adjusted something wrong, why the banners aren't totally above. But fuck it, we'll leave it the way we got it tonight. So we got Mosier out of the way. We got Stephen King out of the way. Let's take it over to my new graphics art man. What do we call you, Mr. Oakley?
I don't know. I guess I'm just your art monkey at this point.
Art monkey. I love monkeys and I love art. So there we go. This is the new art monkey for bowling services, the bowling alley. / whatever the fuck I need him to do, I guess. As a matter of fact, he came up with as a matter of fact, Joshua Dial from the Tiger King loved the artwork that you came up with for him. Scaramucci loved his deal. and was very pleased with that. So I made sure to give you credit, unlike some people in politics that never give anybody any credit and try to take it all on for themselves. And so no racist shit on here tonight, Jaguar. I know what state you're in. No racist shit. I don't want to hear anything about Kamala Harris, and I don't want you asking me if Kamala birthed Kamala at the Mid-South Coliseum. Don't want to hear that shit. So ladies and gentlemen, the host of tonight's show, this is not just the bowling alley. It is also the Jiggy. What do you call your goddamn show? Is it the Jiggy
Well,
Jaguar?
this show is the Thursday night wrestling show.
This is the Thursday night wrestling show. So
Yes.
when you mean we gotta fucking talk about wrestling tonight, I never do that.
Well,
I try not.
Last week we had Del Wilkes, the Patriot, on. Week before
Never-
that, we had Nikita Koloff, Russian Nightmare.
I know who Del was.
Shatuata, that guy.
Well, you had Nikita Cole.
We had
I haven't
Nikita
even-
on. The
Yeah,
week,
he was week before that.
week before that, we had the Genius, Lanny Poffo.
Me and the Genius
Had,
were too good. You didn't bring my name up to Popo, did you?
I don't think John and I did. John spent most of the show marking out to Lanny.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You've had
See, I
me.
liked him in his early
You've had
career.
you on. Do you realize how bad me and Chris used to light his ass up on a weekly basis on who's slamming who? We drove him off the network. He was putting out these little 5-minute shows, and nobody was slamming anybody until I showed up. So I said, wait a minute, this show's called Who's Slamming Who, and no one's talking shit about anybody. Well, that's just going to change now. So who do we go after first? Lanny Poffo and his shitty shows. So we go after him first. And then, of course, we start blistering Cornette's ass every week, even though he didn't have a podcast. We got on him anyway. And I was among the first people to actually have a podcast. And I think I'm the only one who's had a continuous, I think we started doing those in 2007 or 2008. I'm the only one who's had a continuous podcast since that day. And if y'all can think of somebody, let me know. And I'm
By
sure
the
there's-
way, how did Cornette end up with Brian last? Do you know this story? I can't stand the guy.
Burning through everybody else.
A little bit. Well, let's see. We had. I forgot who the first one was, and then came MSL. But did MSL come after the girl? What was her name? The one that put out the
Alice
news?
or whatever?
Alice
Alice Ratley.
Alice something
Yeah.
or whatever.
Matter of fact, I invited Alice Ratley on the bowling. I call her Ratley. I'm like Trump. I come up with all these stupid names for people. I'll never say I'm like Trump again.
Clip that.
JJ, if you're watching the show, clip that shit. We can't have that on. Can't have that on there that I said I'm like Trump. Someone will put that in context.
JJ, leave it in.
Actually,
All right,
clip it and isolate it so that you can have it play over and over and over
I
again.
need a new graphics guy. We just lost one. That was short-lived. At least I got a couple of pictures out
You
of it.
got some good stuff out of him
I'm
while he
going to
was
start
there.
going through art directors the way I go through co-host. That's why I don't have one anymore. That would be Rico. Rico would probably be considered a co-host. He's on enough of these shows.
No, he's just running at this
We have
point.
Ian on here. Ian from Ireland is here. Brian last went to Smoky Mountain Fan Week. Okay, well, he also showed up in '97 at the Eddie Gilbert Memorial Show that I was booked on, and him and some other punk ass kid were the commentators on that show, and it sounded like two high school kids because they sent me the video after the fact, and it sounded like two high school kids trying to be wrestling announcers. And so they sent me the video. I was like, hey, they got a couple of fucking punk ass kids to do these shows. Isn't that cute?
Couple of punk-ass kids.
And the next thing I know, 10 years later, or however long it was, Jimmy's got him as his podcast because he went through MSL and he went through Ratley.
Yep.
And I forgot who it was before then. Maybe somebody on here knows but I've had a lot too. It's like Trump calling someone a crook. I mean, I can't criticize somebody for going through co-host because I've been through a few myself. And that's why I laid off for a while. And you know what? The best co-host is me. So I'll just do that.
Best co-host is you.
And we'll just do
Well,
it.
yeah, he roasts. King roasts himself all the time. I've noticed.
Who's that now?
You roast yourself all the
I
time.
do. I figure, well, let's get the shit in on me first. And that way, if someone else said, hey, I said it before you did. Yeah. King, you're fat. Yeah, I got a fucking mirror. You know what? King, yeah, I know. I eat mashed potatoes, motherfucker. I know I ain't got no fucking teeth. Shut the fuck up. So, Jesus.
Wow!
Edit.
Holy smokes!
This is 2 nights in a row. I did it last night.
What are you doing over there? Do you need
Sure.
Capes Palomino to come?
With the bottle there, yeah.
And I
Wow, man, you just popped off.
I got on my favorite. I did. I've just popped off. To
Do
myself.
I need to send over Capes Palomino to help you with your fan again or whatever?
I have to. God damn it! That's my favorite white shirt. Motherfuck. Hang on. I got to get some spray and wash. Hang on a minute.
That's a $7,000 white shirt. Darn.
It's over,
That's what she
it's
said.
over 7. Don't underestimate this shirt. It's over 7,000. Kamala, the Ugandan giant, sent me to this when he was 8 years old. There we go. It fit him then. Here we go.
Fit him then.
All right. Well, that's as much as I can do. Good thing I had a wet rag sitting there with me, and why I don't even know. Got it on my tablet, motherfucker. Well, shit. Jimmy would end the show and start breaking shit right now, but I won't do that.
Well, how we usually do this on our wrestling show
It's your show. It's your
is
show.
I let John be a fan and a mark, and then he usually comes up and digs up all these questions. And since
What do you mean you let him be a fan of Mark? That's like letting him be human.
so
John's screen just went black. What happened? Where'd he go?
I'm here. Don't worry.
so John, what do you have for the Starmaker?
What do you got?
I've always had a huge fandom for him, but I know you did stuff behind the scenes. What are some of the things other than commentary? And I know you did some sales. What else did you do? Did you help format? Did you
Oh no.
do anything else
Oh,
with
no.
WW before?
Let's see. Well, in Smoky Mountain, I was the ring
Oh, I
announcer,
didn't know.
kind of the backstage translator. I would sometimes go back and forth between the babyface and the heel locker rooms and deliver messages. Who was that referee that passed away here a while back of cancer? That was kind of Jimmy's right hand guy.
Oh, Brian.
Mark
Hildebrand.
Curtis, the shooter. Mark.
Yeah, Mark Curtis.
Yeah.
I even got a Mark Curtis story I'll tell you here in a minute. And I like Mark. I didn't have any problems with him, and I felt bad when he got cancer and everything. But we were in Philadelphia, and he was heading downhill at that point. And we all went out to dinner, and apparently I said something. It was hard to believe. Apparently I said something that
Hard to believe.
Mark. No idea what it was. Could have been something about cancer. I don't know. But I said something that offended Mark, and then he said something about what he was going to do. And I looked at him. I said, "You're going what?" He says, "Bowling, I'll shoot on you." I said, "Well, now that we're all fucking terrified, now what do we do?" I said, "Mark's going to shoot on me, guys. I don't know what we're going to do now." And and his name was Shooter Mark Curtis, and I never understood why or how he got. I don't know if it was a rib because he was so little or what the deal was. But I remember at a restaurant he told me he was going to shoot on me, and I still haven't gotten over that fear yet. I don't know. I guess lucky for me, he passed away, so he didn't beat my ass.
Wow.
I'm in a mood tonight, guys. Who knows what we're going to get? I'm in a mood. I had Scaramucci on last night. Where's your Scaramucci show? Yeah, none of you. That's what I thought.
Hey, I said earlier about
There's only so many that can reach that level.
that's
Well,
right.
exactly. I do have Stephen King down here. It looks like the fucking Hollywood Squares if we had 2 or 3 more people.
Where's Jim J. Bullock when you need him?
Where's Charlie Weaver? We want Charlie Weaver. We want Wally Cox.
Charlie Cox.
All right, what was Wally? No, his name wasn't Charlie Cox. What was Wally Cox famous?
Oh, I always get those two screwed up.
Being on game shows.
He did a lot of voice work for cartoons.
What else was Wally Cox world famous for? World famous. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you all a hint. I don't like standing up on shows because it shows everybody how fat I am. These guys already saw me in pink socks earlier, watching me try to put up a green screen.
Oh, yeah.
Not the only thing Jiggy said he saw, but don't worry.
I got red soda on my new microphone. I'm going to give
He
you
was
a
underdog, actually. Wally Cox was underdog.
What are you saying?
Underdog.
You're saying that
Underdog.
Wally Cox was underdog. There's no need to. Well, fuck, I don't need to say it. He didn't get a good camera shot. There you go. Wally Cox. That's Wally Cox. Wally Cox was on the bowling
Yeah,
alley.
he did a lot of voice
Master
work.
Jiggy Jaguar show.
Look at that.
Now I don't know what other y'all can scoop me on this. What other cartoons did he do? Because Underdog's the only voice that I know. I'm going to try to drink
Well, that was my
this again
favorite,
without
but-
spilling it all over the microphone. God damn! I just found more drink spilled on.
Let's see here.
Just found more drinks spilled over here.
Jaguar.
You're running a professional operation over there, Bolin.
So Underdog's been on the show. The voice of Wally Cox. We've got that going for. We've got Stephen King down in the left-hand corner.
That's
a
right.
a fired arts guy over here on the right.
That's right. Don't even know why he's still here.
Fired arts.
His page has ended. He's
You have to pay me before you can fire me.
I know. Well, he's finishing up his shift before we let him go.
Finishing up his shift.
If you're waiting to get paid, you'll never quit.
Yeah, he's a lifer. He's got to be a lifer if that's the case.
I'm sorry, Kenny. You're stuck with me, man.
I guess I'm stuck with it. Now, John Mosier, this line fuck, invited me to a restaurant about 3 years ago. I haven't got to go.
Hey, I can only do so much when the people that owned it sold it. So
So
brought in their own
where
people.
I was coming, they thought it was a better business decision to sell their restaurant rather than to risk having to comp me some meals. Is that what the?
That's what it was. That's what it was, Bowling.
No, I just got it to the point where it was worthwhile for somebody to buy it. So
There's that.
I've ignored all the questions. Rory, one of my sweet friends from Canada, she's deeply in love with me. She acts like she's in love with Maya. She acts like she's in love with Maya, but that's all a sham. We know that's not real. I even got a purple Kenny Bolin shirt with the purple compression shirt. This is my thing now. This is what I do. I don't know why, but I do. And I even got purple shit for her. Ox Baker Jr.'s in here, guys.
Ox Baker Jr.
you need a sippy cup.
I had him on the show a couple weeks ago.
I want your body. Ox Baker.
He loves to fuck people. So Ox is in here. So we had him on a couple of weeks ago. Appreciate you tuning in, Ox. We got Chris Schmidt on here who fucked me on pizza. He screwed me. He said, Kenny, here's what he said. He says, Bolin, or he called me Mr. Bolin because I'm like Trump. Did I do it again?
Heavy on the mister.
Mr. President. Mr. President. Jesus Christ. But yeah, Schmidt told me if I treated him good and I didn't treat him like an asshole, that he was going to buy pizza for me and Chris after the show. And I want you to know it's been 24 hours later, 28 hours later, and ain't no pizza showed up at my door.
Ain't no
Chris
pizza.
Schmidt, you're a lying fuck. There you go. We got the Lord in here. Don Lord's in here. Donald Lord. He's
Lord.
Hey, the Lord I thought was upstairs, but no, he's actually right here. So that was all a lie.
That was all a lie.
Lordy. So Ian's in here. Ox Baker, I didn't get anything for free. Well, Ox, you weren't supposed to. So that works that out. Let's see if we got any. Rory said, God damn, so I don't know what happened there. I thought I was your co-host. Ox, that was a 1 week deal. And I stiffed
That
you
was a 1 week deal.
I pulled a Nick Goulis. I stiffed you on pay. And let's see here. So, yeah, if you've asked questions that you deemed were somewhat important, ask them again. Let's see. Hope you enjoyed the Dutch and Paul.
Paul.
Yeah, I got that. Mediterranean mud cake. There's a name for you. He sent me a picture of Dutch Mantel and Paul Heyman in the same picture. That was kind of cool. And nope, no, you motherfucker. He went, nope, no pizza. I'm just going to show you all this douchebag, and it's going to be like, look there. Ain't even got the guts to show his face after what he did to me.
Pizza Nazi.
Somebody had to screw Kenny. Well, somebody did. Somebody did. That's bowling alley for life. Well, Hudson knows his shit. Maybe he'll get me some pizza. There we go. All right. So, Jiggy, it's your show. I got nothing to say.
I got nothing to say.
That'll be a
Come
first.
on now.
That would be a first.
So how did you get started doing this whole pro wrestling thing, Bolin?
Well, I had an interest in it probably since I would say 14. I think the bug was sparked when I met Jerry Law now, and Jerry's really embarrassed when I tell this story because I told it on his own podcast. And he said, Kenny, how'd we meet? I said, well, I met you in a back alley at the Louisville Guard. He said, that already sounds terrible. I said, well, I know.
Already sounds terrible.
And after my ass quit hurting, you offered me a job in the wrestling business. And that, no, I never happened.
Too old for Jerry.
That'll be another quote going around on the internet tomorrow. I'm just out here having fun. Someone's going to fucking make some of that. Hey, Lawler, I hear you fuck Kenny Bolin in a bowling alley. Not what happened, but hey, it could get
Not in the bowling alley.
Not in the bowling alley.
taken out of context.
In the back alley behind the Louisville Gardens.
That's right.
Valley. So I told that, but I actually met him in the back alley of the Gardens, and he wasn't that friendly at first. It was actually Sam Bass that I buddied up with first. And through time, he noticed that out of 5,000 people at the Louisville Gardens, I'm sitting in the front row of the cheap seats. I'd get down there about 6 o'clock for an 8:05 bell time. and I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford that front row. Front row was $4.50, and the cheap seats were only $2.
Wow.
That was double the price. My mom wasn't going to go for those fucking front row seats, so I got $2.50 to go to the gardens and a little money for some White Castle and/or Kingfish after the show, depending where we were going. And so Lawler used to have Jimmy Hart travel to the shows with him. Well, this is well before. Thanks for adding any red soda on my beautiful face here. He wanted to. Well, Jimmy Hart had noticed that I was the only guy out of 5,000 people rooting for Jerry Lawler. So during intermission, Hart stepped out and talked to the fans. So I'm walking by, and he says, "Hey, young man." And I looked over. He said, "Yeah, you." He said, "Come here for a minute." So I walked over, and he said, "What's your name?" I said, "Well, I was going by Kenny Risen back then. I hadn't changed my name to Bolin yet." And he says, "Man," he says, "you got to be crazy." I said, "Why is that?" He says, "You're the only one out of 5,000 people in here that roots for Jerry Lawler, and you do that every week." I said, "Well, he's the only reason I come." I said, "I come down here to root for him." I said, "I like the bad guys." I said, "But I like Jerry the best." And he said, "Have you ever met Jerry?" I said, "No." I said, "I've seen him out in the back alley a few times, and, he kind of sneers and half-ass waves." I said, "He's never spoke a word to me." Man, I got to let Jerry know, man, that you're the only, he might not see you from the ring. I got to let him know that you're in here rooting for him every week. He said, "How'd you like to meet him after the show tonight?" I said, "That'd be great." I said, "I'd love that." So after the show was over, he comes there and waves me to come backstage. And it was a big deal to get to go backstage back then. It just didn't happen. Cornette wasn't even allowed backstage. He had an area to go to change his film for his camera and an area to take pictures of the wrestlers, but he wasn't allowed actually to go backstage. He just had to go to a specific area. And so I went back, and they brought Lawler up to meet me, or Jimmy Hart did, and a couple other guys. And got to meet Lawler, posed for some pictures with him, and he signed a picture for me that said, "To my pal Kenny, best wishes, Jerry the King Lawler," which I've still got around here somewhere. And so we got to be buddies. And then in 76 or 77, I think 77, when he turned babyface, I sent word to him. I said, "Man," I said, "I don't have a ride tonight." I said, "I know that Tommy Marlin goes down to the liquor store, and you go to the McDonald's next door to it." I said, "Lola is going with Tommy to the liquor store. I don't have a ride." I said, "Jerry," I said, "would you mind if I rode down with you?" Knowing he's going to say fuck no. And but we'd, over 3 years, we'd become somewhat friends and spoke just about every week. And even Cornette had put the bug in his ear. He said, "Man, Kenny might need a ride down to that McDonald's. Would you have any trouble taking him?" He said, "We'll have him ask me, and we'll see what happens." So after the show, I asked him. He said, "Yeah, sure. Come on. I got something for you." And that was the night he turned babyface. So we're in the car, and he's playing me some music that he likes, and I recommended the Midnight Express song to open Memphis Wrestling, and he really liked it. But Jerry Jarrett didn't. He liked the music they were using, that Space Odyssey shit. And so they did not take the Midnight Express music that I recommended. They went with Space Odyssey. And then Cornette thought the Midnight Express music was a good idea, because I did not even know there had already been a Midnight Express. So Jimmy, when he got in, wanted to form the team, the Midnight Express. He's going to do it again, even though it had already been done. Like I said, Jimmy's never had original thought in his fucking life. And so he took that music and formed the Midnight Express. So my music eventually made it to television, just not the way that I thought it was going to happen. And but how I actually got into wrestling, Cornette didn't get me in. Lawler didn't get me in. I ran into Nick Goulas at a Service Merchandise. I was returning a
Service Merchandise. I've heard that in years.
I was returning a Dolby Digital surround sound receiver. Now, mysteriously, somehow, some way, I had purchased a $499 Pioneer Dolby Digital surround sound receiver, but in the box, I got screwed. There was only a $134 Fisher surround sound receiver. So I took that back to get a full refund. Just need to see if you guys are following what went down here. I'm not going to say anything, but all I know is that the receiver I left behind at home was a lot better than the one I returned. So I was actually pulling a scam. No, this was pre-Kroger, and I was actually pulling a scam. And I turned around as I pulled it, and I had the box factory sealed and everything. They had no reason to check it. I had the thing factory sealed back up. So I turn around, and there's fucking another crook. Nick Goulas is standing there. Cornette.
There's another crook.
So I turn around. There's
Oh my God.
5 or 6 people behind me. Nick Goulas is standing in line. I said, Gabrielle. I said, God damn us, that's fucking Nick Goulas. I said, he's the man that started fucking wrestling in this territory. I said, you mind if I go back and say hi to him? I said, here. So I put the box down. I said, oh, this box. We hadn't even pulled the shim sham yet. I go back to meet Nick. Well, I walked back. I said, hey, I said, my name's Kenny. I changed my name to Kenny Bolin by then because I knew shit was going to happen eventually somewhere. So I introduced myself. I said, my name's Kenny Bolin. I said, I know you don't know me. I said, but I'm dear friends with Jimmy Cornette, if you know who he is. And Jimmy never worked for Nick, so I wasn't sure Nick knew who he was or not. I assumed he probably did. Yeah, I know Jimmy Cornette. Yeah, I know that boy and all that. And I said, I'm also pretty good friends with
Talk
Jared.
to you anyway.
He talked to me anyway. What a Christian. What a Christian. And he said it was an electronic opportunity. Christian said it certainly was. So I went back and talked to him, and he said, well, Kenny, this might be your lucky day. I said, how's that? He said, well, I'm getting ready to start my own wrestling organization again. It's going to be called World Organization Wrestling. I said, yeah, I didn't understand very well. WOW, World Organization Wrestling. I said, yeah, that sounds great. I said, we're going to be affiliated with the NWA, and I'm looking for the next Jerry Lawler, and I don't know anybody better to fill that role than you. I said, well, I'm not really too interested in being a wrestler. I said, I was a pretty good high school wrestler. I said, I kind of want to be I said, they already got a Jerry Lawler. I said, I want to be like a manager or a commentator. Well, man, I tell you what, you might be able to do both with me. What would you think of that? I said, well, that'd be great. And I'm thinking I'm going to make millions of dollars because I'm working for Nick Goulas.
I'm going to make millions because I'm working for Nick Goulas.
I had the battle to get 75 fucking bucks a show. But I was on television, and I got to interview Nick and George Goulas, which Jimmy Cornette never got to do. He never worked a day for Nick Goulas in his life.
Wow.
And he always said he was jealous of that. But all these people that say I rode Cornette's coattails, and I did this, and I did that. How you doing, David? And oh my God, Patrick's in here. Patrick, you know the code. You know the code, you dumb fuck. So he's smiling about Nick Goulas, and Patrick's old buddy of mine from down in Louisiana. He's a big David Duke fan. Not to get any heat on him or anything.
Duke.
No, he's not really. I don't want to do that to him. He's not a David Duke fan. He's a David Duke stalker, and he stalks David Duke for one reason. He talks, Nick Goulas, as a matter of fact, called in on my show once, and he called my daughter-in-law a little dark lady. He certainly did.
That is awesome.
The ghost of Nick Goulas called my show, and he said, let me tell you something, little dark lady. I said, oh, shit. And Maya was dying.
Maya is a big perv magnet.
Who's that?
I've often thought Maya was a perv magnet.
I'm starting to wonder. Well, and she is. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, Nick Goulas called in my show. I think it was the show I did with the 13-hour podcast without going to the bathroom, by the way. Documented proof of that. And Nick Goulas called in, and he called
the ghost
Maya.
of Nick Goulas.
Watch your tone of voice with me, little dark lady, or something like that. Maya fucking died, and it was something to see. It was something to see.
So when I did my podcast with Terry Garvin,
Terry
told me
Rory might miss that show. Go ahead there, Steve.
Terry told me that George Goulas was the absolute worst wrestler to ever step in the ring.
Well, the only
Lots
one
of people say that.
the only one maybe worse at throwing a punch would have been Randy Hales, and I love Randy. Randy's a great guy.
Randy Hales.
But if Randy Hales and George Goulas got into a punching contest, I'm pretty sure neither one of them would ever hit the other one, to be honest with you. And they would look for shit.
Randy was a figurehead, wasn't he?
What's that? Yeah, Randy was a figurehead, but occasionally he worked
George
matches. Yeah, he worked himself into some matches, and he was there the night I got inducted into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Even though I never wrestled in Memphis, I feuded with everybody down there, but I didn't actually wrestle in Memphis. But he was there, and he was a big instrumental part of me being a part of that show that night. So, but I got an honorary membership, or was it an honorary membership? I can't remember, but it was one of the two.
Oh, you're just honorary membership.
I got one of the two. Everybody in here is now wanting to know more about Nick Goulas. So Goulas hired me, and like a fool.
That's cool.
And he didn't realize I was one of these people who didn't take no for an answer. When payday came and I did shows, I was going to get my goddamn money. So he made the misfortune to let me know where he lived, and I'd go to his house beating on his door. So George answers the phone one day. I'm there to get my money. He owes me about $225. I said, George, I said, I've been over here
Jeez.
for 3 or 4 times. I said, I need my money, man. I got rent to pay. And I think my rent was $250 a month back then, and he owed me $225. Well, Dad's not home. Well, here's the sad part. Dad just walked behind him. He walked behind him. He's going into the fucking kitchen wearing a robe and slippers.
That's
And I said,
not home.
George, I got some news for you. Dad apparently just got home. He just walked behind you in his goddamn robe and slippers. Oh, he wasn't just so he's running cover for Pop, trying to make sure because normally Nick answered the door, but this time it was George trying to tell me that Nick wasn't home. And I said, he just walked behind you, God damn it. So Nick finally come to the door, and I think instead of paying me $225, he peeled me off $175. Apparently pocketed $50 for himself. And,
Pocketed $50 for himself.
That was $175 more than anyone else ever got out of him. So consider it a victory. So
Did George say Daddy said sell then?
Daddy says, don't ask me for no money, I think is what George was saying. Don't ask me for no money.
But it's not how much you make; it's how much you save.
How much you save, exactly. Those who really know their wrestling know that saying. And you killed Nick. Well, Patrick says I killed Nick Gulas, and there's a possibility of that. Let's see here. So Patrick's saying a whole lot. I invited, as I told you guys earlier, I invited Steve Bannon on the show tonight. And I don't know if he's going to show up or not, but he's invited. So if he pops in the room, we'll put him on. We'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, so I worked with him for a couple.
So Kenny, what's this horny membership here?
I don't know. It's a new membership that apparently only Patrick knows about. And he says I killed Nick Gulas. I think I worried it. Well, he did die while I was working for him. So I guess I might have to take some credit for it because I was in Louisville visiting Cornette. He was at the Louisville Gardens. I'm backstage at the Louisville Gardens. They said, Kenny, where are you going to be working now? I said, what do you mean, where am I going to be working? He said, well, your promotion just died tonight. I said, WOW went away. He said, no, Nick Gulas went away. I said, what Nick Gulas went away? He said, he died. I said, what? No sympathy whatsoever. Everybody's just almost throwing a party that Nick Gulas was dead. Because as Nick Gulas used to tell everybody, that Jerry Jarrett stole his company from Nick Gulas. So there is a video on the Bowling Alley channel that says, oh my God. The device is not connected yet. Did you all see the name that just popped up on the screen?
No.
Well, I don't see a picture, but we got to have video. We don't throw anybody on this show without video, but maybe Bannon's a little scared to show his face, so let's add him to the...
What in the world?
I don't see a face. Is this Stephen K. Bannon? All right. I mean, apparently he doesn't know how to work audio. Bannon is never known to be an audio tech. Bannon, you're on the air. Can you hear us? Hit your mute button or do something. You're killing valuable airtime here, Bannon. Come on.
That's awesome.
Well, Steve Bannon is on the show, and
Stephen K. Bannon in the building. Holy smokes!
I think he's afraid to show his face because he knows if I recognize him, it could be a severe ass whipping. You got audio issues there, Stephen. I may have to kick Stephen out of the room and have him come back in.
He's like a fish in a hurricane.
Yeah, Stephen's fucking up. Stephen, I can't hear you.
He's probably just cutting a promo on you like nobody's business, but nobody can hear it.
That's the best one he'll ever cut is the one I don't hear. So,
that's one is the one I don't hear.
We're gonna kick that racist asshole out. I'm not gonna ban him. I'm gonna kick him out. So he's kicked out. Kick the guest out. You're out. So hey, Bannon, figure your shit out, motherfucker. If you're gonna be on the show, we'd like number one, we'd like to see you. But if we can't see you, we got to hear you, you dumb fuck. So there we go. I just cut a promo on Bannon.
Well, I'll tell you,
that
microphone you have is fantastically sounding.
This is the Mudwig. This is the Mudwig microphone, and I've got 3 matching ones, and I also have the special. When I really want to do a serious podcast, so there we go. That is the golden mic. That was given to me by Podcast One when I eclipsed the 1 billion download when I was on the Russo Network. And 1 billion downloads. I'm the only podcaster in the history of podcasts to achieve over 1 billion downloads on all the shows I've ever been on. Cornette tried to say that was not real, but it's as real as anything he's ever done. So there we go.
I'm not saying much.
You could have me there. You could have me there. You know what? I could turn microphone 3 on too, just in case I leave. Let me turn on one that's the wrong one. 1, 2. There we go. So we
Look
got
at that.
There we go.
Quadraphonic bowling.
Yeah, quadraphonic bowling.
Quadraphonic bowling. That sounds like a new action figure.
One over here in the middle. We got that one. We got there we go. Looks like a press conference now, don't it?
That's right.
All right. Well, first of all, we're going to ban white people from Congress. That's the first thing we're going to do. Anybody over the age 55, you're fucking out of here. Well, Mr. Bolin, you're 60. All right, everybody but me. See, that's how dictatorships work.
I just lost 2 jobs and didn't even know I had them.
That's how dictatorships work. That's awesome.
Just finish your goddamn shift, Oakley. Quit bitching about all the jobs.
Well,
That
Mosier,
wasn't me.
do you have any more questions for Bolin? Because you're a big bowling mark.
Somebody should be.
Oh yeah, so there, but
Kenny is, so why not?
who would you Kenny? Who would you say is the guy you thought was going to make it big and never did from OVW?
God, I was good at predicting people that I thought were going to make it that Cornette didn't think were. Johnny Nitro was one of them, who's John Morrison now. Jimmy didn't think he would make it. He didn't think Paul London would make it. He didn't think Lance Cade would make it. He didn't think Jindrak would make it, which Jindrak probably had the least success probably out of all those, I guess. The one that we all were in agreement on is Russ McCullough, except Dutch Mantell. Dutch Mantell really liked Russ McCullough and thought that he would do some good. Me and Jimmy saw absolutely nothing in him. This guy had no fucking clue. I think he was a former football player.
Giant dude.
Yeah, he was a big dude. I can't remember. He played some pro football. Do you remember for who he played?
Oh God!
Russ
They said,
McCullough.
I think they said the Packers, but I don't know if that's right.
Well, the Packers must have been desperate. That's all I can tell you.
The Packers.
Yeah, it was
the
after
best.
Reggie White,
Not to talk,
retired.
not to talk ill of the dead, but I don't think he's dead. So I guess I can talk about him all I want. Ban white people for all things. Well, we could look into that. I mean, and then again, I'd have to clear the studio. It looks like. All right, Bannon appears to be back.
This is phenomenal.
Get 10 pounds heavier. Steve Bannon, have you figured out your audio over there yet?
Yes, Mr. Bolin. This is Stephen K. Bannon. How are you,
Stephen
sir?
K. Bannon with no camera, you coward. But that's all right. I'm not.
I don't need a camera. Everyone knows who I am. Everyone
Well,
knows who Stephen
I
K.
know who
Bannon
you
is.
are.
I was the chief architect of the Trump campaign.
Yeah, you
You
were.
know this to be the case. Yes, I was. And
I
we
do.
won. Make America great again. Make America great again.
That was all you.
That was it. It was all my doing. I came into the campaign in August. He was down 15 points because of my genius. He ended up winning. How do you like those apples?
Well, those are nice apples, but how many of the 24 women he raped did you assist with? How many of those
That's
were?
all alleged. That is. Hey, now, let me talk now. No, you're not going to interrupt me. Let me talk.
I just
That
did.
is
Go
all.
ahead.
Well, no, you're not going to do it again. You're not going to do it again.
Sure,
You
I'm
invite me. I'm your guest. You're the host. Allow me.
You
an opportunity to
hijacked
talk.
the show. Well, all right. I guess I did invite you, so you
Yes,
got me there.
yes, you did. You
All
did.
right, go
Okay.
ahead, Pete.
It's all alleged. It's all media propaganda perpetrated by the left-wing media. That's all there is to it, Mr. Bolin. You know this
Yeah.
to be the case, and so do I.
Oh, so now you're telling me what I know.
Yes, it's not much, but I will educate you.
It's not much. Well,
I appreciate that, Mr. Bannon. Well, go ahead. You're on the show. Plead your case. Why should Trump win it in 2020?
Well, even though he was instrumental in getting me out of his administration, I still think he's a better choice than Joe Biden because he's going to return America to its previous glory. He's going to get our jobs back. He's going to get our manufacturing base back.
Yeah.
He's going to do something about immigration and ensuring that the America that I grew up in the 1960s is revived and better than ever.
Oh, you guys loved the 60s. There was a lot of racism back then. Is that part of the thing you guys liked?
Look, no, there's no. This obsession.
You're stuttering,
you have
Mr.
on
Bannon.
racism.
You're wasting valuable
Well,
airtime.
I'm
stuttering.
trying because I am trying to convey to you the realities on the ground, Mr. Bolin.
Mhm.
The realities on the ground.
America's manufacturing base has been totally depleted as a result of globalism and free trade, which has been advocated by both parties, mind you.
I thought you were going to admit there was global warming, but you went another direction. But go ahead.
That's nothing more than a myth perpetrated by the likes of Al Gore.
Al Gore. That's all Al. It's all for him.
it's all out.
Yes, AKA Man Bear Pig. But anyway,
I think somebody's been snorting way too much Colombian here.
Well, a little bit. He's been accused of doing that from time to time.
I have not.
I've seen his wardrobe, so that's another reason I'm sure why he's not showing his face. I've seen his wardrobe. I wouldn't put that on camera either. But continue, Mr. Bannon, continue.
Well, and like you're one to talk, Mr. Bolin. How much do you weigh now, Kenny? 450? How much do you weigh?
I was at one point up to 589 pounds, according to some doctors, and this morning I weighed in at a grand total of 313 pounds.
Well, I'm still skinnier than you,
Yeah.
so there you go.
Well, but you're tall, and what shocks me because I didn't realize they could stack shit that high. But that's okay. Go ahead.
Jesus.
Well, all I have to say is, look, you gave me the opportunity to plead my case.
I did.
To say why I think Trump should be reelected in November.
Yeah.
Trade, immigration, and social issues.
So everything that he's failed on for the past 4 years is why he should be reelected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Oakley.
Look,
Mr. Oakley has a good question there. All the failures he's committed over the last 4 years, why should we give him 4 more?
Richard Haskins is my hero.
because at least
That is
because
awesome.
no, let me finish now. Let me finish. You asked a question. It's a legitimate question.
Well,
Because he
Donald
is
Trump.
at least-
Donald Trump says that a lot. Let me finish now. But normally he's raping a woman when he says that. But go ahead.
Jesus.
Let me ask you a serious question. How many times did Trump fuck you in the ass?
Sure.
5 or 10? That's what I. That's what I thought.
Did he give you the courtesy of a reach around at least?
I can't reveal that information.
I didn't think you should. I didn't. Yeah, well,
Non-disclosure.
that's not the lie on this show, Mr. Bannon. We'll call you out on it, so I appreciate you at least ignoring the question instead of lying about it. I appreciate that.
Well, I think what,
Like to say, I got valuable guests on this show who actually show their faces.
like who? Like Nick Goulas? Like Nick
Like
Nick
Goulas.
Goulas.
Nick Goulas.
And Nick Goulas has been dead for a while.
Be a fan.
He's a good friend.
The night
Great
that,
man.
yeah, man down in hell. The night that he called my daughter-in-law a little dark lady. I'm sure you got a big kick out of that, didn't you?
I certainly did. As a matter of fact, I was not that far from him when he made that statement.
Well,
was near it.
he's in
That
hell.
statement was
I'm
made.
pretty damn sure you were pretty close to where Nick Goulas was calling me from on his hell phone. I think is what he said he was calling
It was
on.
hell phone.
The AT&T
Well,
hell.
The hell of fun.
I was only there on vacation, Mr. Bolin. I was only there on vacation.
Too bad it wasn't an extended vacation. All right.
Oh, he had to sell his soul. That makes sense.
He sold his soul. No. Well, hey, we all got to make money somehow, and
No,
abandoned.
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It was
There was
only a
There's a book
timeshare
that
for
was
his soul.
published called.
Well,
There was
Mr.
a book that was published called
Mr.
Devil's
Bannon, you
Bargain.
need to pay your
Okay,
cell phone
Trump
bill.
sold
Your
his
AOL
soul to come on
filtering
board
on
with
you.
me.
Yeah. Are you on AOL dial-up? What are you on over there, Bannon?
Ah. Oh.
I'm not one to embrace this modern technology, okay, Mr. Bolin? I'm not like you. I
Yeah,
don't live in the present. I live in the past, and I'm happy of it.
You don't embrace modern clothing either, but that's another story. But go ahead.
Well, I'm not here to discuss how I dress. That's a separate issue.
Yeah.
We'll discuss that the next time you have me on. And I appreciate you having me on your show, by the way.
If you would only click
I really
that
do.
camera and show the people what an idiot you look like, it would be so great. But if you won't do it, I understand. I don't blame you.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because I don't want your left-wing audience to bash
My
me
left-
and
my left
harass me
ears,
and
yeah.
short me, so.
What about
Yeah, they all
Wait a
love-
minute,
they-
wait a
they-
minute.
They're the cult of Bolin. They drink your
the
Kool-Aid.
cult of Bolin? They're calling them now.
Hey,
You're another
I
Jim
got an
Jones.
action figure of Bannon over here.
Yeah, Oakland's got another question for you.
I got an
Oakland,
action
okay.
figure of you, Bannon. And this one's perfect for you.
Oh, he's calling you the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Can you see these? I know we can't see you. Can you see? He's got the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man over there.
I can, and I don't look like that anymore. I've lost a lot of weight, Mom.
A lot of weight. Well, that's 2 of us, Bannon. Even
Yeah.
though you accuse me of clocking in at 450.
Well, you could actually see
You
what I
know-
look like,
Here
Mr.
comes,
Bolin,
here
if
comes
you
the
would
Marshmallow
tune in.
Man coming to
I
Louisiana.
have a show, by the way, that's much better and has higher ratings than your pathetic, pity little Bolin alley.
Well,
It's called War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
That's
Yeah, well,
right.
I'd like for you to
Yeah.
listen sometime.
Well, you won't be having me listen anytime. And I'm sure you have a hell of an audience because 30% of this country is a bunch of racist fucks that probably admire you.
More
Yeah.
like 60. More like 60.
Are you
Get your
making
facts
60?
straight.
Well, if it's 60,
Yes, I look. I went to Harvard Business School. I know something about statistics and mathematics.
so
Okay, it's 60.
Look, delivering pizza at the Harvard Business School does
Yeah,
not
yeah.
count.
I've driven by.
Class of 1985.
1985. I
Go
thought
ahead.
1984 from you.
Yeah, possibility.
George Orwell.
Oh,
Well, as my you
Okay.
mentioned 1984. As my dear friend Alex Jones often says,
Yeah,
the answer to 1984 is 1776.
the host of this show
All
tonight, because this is
I'm a big Alex Jones mark. I love it.
This is the bowling alley Jiggy Jaguar.
Well, but you like Alex Jones, but you don't like Stephen K. Bannon. What gives? Why is he any better than me?
Woody is entertaining.
Jaguar, how do you like?
And I'm not. I'm accomplished. I served in administration, for heaven's sake. I'm the reason Trump is president.
You've
Explain
never
at least
once
give me
told us about how
standards.
frogs are gay. So
Jaguar,
there's
explain
nothing.
yourself.
By the way, Kenny, I sent your StreamYard link to a gentleman by the name of Julio Rivera, and he may join us. Who knows?
I've heard of him. Isn't he in prison?
Oh my
Should be out of the
God.
country.
Julio
He
by the
wouldn't be in the country
schoolyard.
for it.
Actually, Julio Rivera, last time I talked to him, claimed to be out of the country. He was in a bunker somewhere.
He was supposedly in my basement, according to you.
Where did I say? Well, I said he was in your basement. I thought he
Yes.
was doing some green screen action I was trying to do earlier tonight. I was going to broadcast from his hometown, but I don't know which one he's claiming to be in right now.
Isn't he in Europe or
He's
Belarus
claiming-
or something?
I'm telling you, he's probably going to walk on set right now. I have no doubt that he's living in your
He's gonna walk through.
Well, if you want to find Stephen K. Bannon, Kenny, I'm not that hard to find. You can find me at the Breitbart Embassy in Washington, D.C. I'll be there waiting for you.
Well,
Anytime.
Zip code.
Anytime.
Ian from Ireland says that he would like to see Steve Bannon and Alex Jones in a cage match with New Jack. Are you up to that?
That'd be
I certainly am. New
phenomenal.
Jack's a good friend of mine. New Jack is a real American patriot. I like New Jack. I respect him.
You're friends with New Jack?
Yes, Jerome Young is a dear friend of mine. I've known him for a long time.
That don't
Absolutely.
add up. That don't add up with your list of friends.
Don't add up with your list of friends.
Anything out obvious there, but it doesn't seem to be your kind of people to be mild about it. Well, Mr. Bannon, do you have anything else to say before we get back to our decent guest? Bannon, your AOL dial-up's kicking out on you again.
There he went. He's gone.
God, your dial-up connection kicked out. Well, there you go. I promised you people Stephen Bannon would call in here tonight, and there he is. And
Phenomenal.
Brandon wants to know what just happened.
That's kind of the question I've
I'm
been
trying to
asking.
figure out too.
He had a run-in from a job.
Chris Schmidt says Julio is hanging out by the schoolyard. And
Yes!
very good possibility of that. Now, I used that on him last time I did his show.
Yes.
That a lot. I said, well, keep your ass out of schoolyards, and you won't. Bannon is back in here again. Well, should we put Bannon back on again or not?
What? He's coming back for more?
He's back.
He's coming back for more?
He's back in 10 pounds. All right.
He's going to talk wrestling.
Well, throw him on and say that. All right. Bannon, the people here didn't really want you back, but all right.
People here didn't
Well, I
want
have
you
every right
back.
to be back because as far as I'm concerned,
Are
this
you,
is my
are
show
you a
now.
$1 Patreon member like everybody in this room? Are you a Patreon member to the
Are
bowling
you
alley?
a Patreon
I am not a member.
member?
I am not a Patreon member to the Bowling Alley.
Is
Mosier,
Julio
And I
in?
will never be.
Mosier, your payment's late this week, by the way. You need to get that payment in, or I'm going to have to boot you out of here.
Sorry.
Yeah, well,
I've got
have
an
that-
Uber tonight
Sorry,
for some money and
don't-
get it for you.
sorry, don't pay the bills. So let's get that payment.
Sorry, don't pay the bills.
Yeah. Scaramucci's my bill collector, by the way. You know
Well,
what?
you get now. That's why that is no. You mentioned the name. I did not bring it up. You mentioned that name. That is the principal reason why I'm calling here. to discuss
Scaramucci.
Mr.
Yeah, when I had
exactly.
a great, decent, loving guest on the show last night instead of you.
Yeah. He's a turncoat. That's exactly what he is.
He
He's a
did turn on
turncoat.
you. He
hates
did
the
turn
president.
on you in the group. There's no doubt about that. As a matter
He
of
certainly
fact,
did. The Michael Wolff book.
let me smarten everybody up a second. You're the one that got him fired. Somebody just held up a sign that says Bannon blows goats. I'm sure you can see that. Scaramucci got fired because he said you sit around your office blowing yourself all day. I retweeted that today because I said somebody else blows themselves a lot or in some form of that. And but you're basically the one that got Scaramucci fired. You went crying to Trump. You said Scaramucci says I blow myself all day. You got to fire him, Uncle Donald. You got to fire him. That's what you did, right?
Because That's exactly what I did. In order
Yeah,
to save
well,
Donald Trump,
the
they
truth
allowed
hurts,
Donald
don't
Trump
it?
to govern as Donald Trump.
Well, the truth hurts, and you shouldn't be sitting around the White House blowing yourself all day. It's embarrassing to do that. Well, maybe not for you, but for someone else,
Well,
a decent person,
A decent
a
person.
Christian, a moral person, somebody with morals like me. Not so
Well.
much
you,
Stephen
Boland?
King, not so much Stephen King, but me.
What now? Do you want to discuss Jim Cornette? Is he the next topic? Discuss him.
You're taking
Yeah,
I-
you
Yeah,
could.
go ahead. We're good with it.
Yes, let's go. Let's talk about.
Oakley's now just throwing up his picture. Bannon, you could have at least thrown up your picture. Oakley's gone to his picture. So this might be a meme podcast here before it's over. Not a mean one, but a meme one. Give me 3 minutes on Cornette, and then we got to kick you out of here. You're taking up valuable airtime. Is he gone again?
He's gone.
He's gone again. Well, all right. We're going to have to kick him out again, it looks like. And he's removed, and he's
So
gone.
whatever happened, Kenny? Whatever happened with the thing with Chris and all that? Did Cornette finally just kind of ease off, or?
Well, we were threatened to have been sued. We had Cornette's so-called attorney write us, and he was going to sue us.
So-called
And
attorney.
then Chris dared him to do
Wasn't worth
so. Chris dared him to sue us and said good luck. And this went on for a while, and then other attorneys were making fun of him because he had all this time to threaten to sue the Bolins on Twitter. Then we Googled him and saw that he had like a 1.8 rating out of 5, and all these clients were bitching about how bad he was. but Cornette was very proud of him and happy to have him as a part of Castle Cornette. So, but no, we
Oh, is
haven't.
that Stephen
further
New?
on that. Well, if he takes us to court, we get to call witnesses on what we claimed happened, and we get to subpoena people. So if they want to sue us, we're willing to go. I've got 3 attorneys that are licking their chops, hoping this thing goes to a trial. Now, we don't know when the hell it'd ever make it to a courtroom with the pandemic going on and everything, but we explained everything to our attorneys, and they just could not believe that attorney was trying to get into a war with us on Twitter. And
That's hilarious.
Donald Lord says Cornette owned up to most of it. Well, he lied about it for quite some time, but he hadn't owned up to all of it yet. I can tell you that for a flat fact. But
Not even.
as a matter of fact, I'll mention it to you guys here, being as I don't know if you're all loyal listeners or not, but we have a member of the Midnight Express coming on the Bowling Alley real soon. He said he'd be on within 30 days or so. He's got some shit to say. He's told me what he's got to say, and if he says it on air, oh my God.
Sweet Stanley.
It's going to rock the wrestling world. And as Chris said last night, we can't tell you if this member is sweet. We can't even tell you if he's beautiful, and we don't even know if he's a lover boy or not. But there is, there's 2 members that have called me, but only one said he would go on the air. I have not heard from the 3rd member yet, but they had plenty to say. And I have not heard from the 3rd member. And I bet you guys that the member you think hasn't called me, you're wrong. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll see what happens. And I told him if he wants to come on and talk, I'll give him a forum. But he's angry. He's got some shit to say. And if he says on the air what he said to me, oh, my God. Patreon, here we come. That's all I can
Patreon, here we go.
Come on, Patreon. Roll me snake eyes. So, he says Condry's known for speaking his mind. I haven't heard a word out of him in quite some time. Randy Rose never was with Cornette. He feuded with Jimmy a little bit, but Randy Rose was with Paul Heyman in Atlanta. It was Randy Rose and Dennis Condry in Atlanta. And
in the AW.
I said one of the 3 originals said that he wants to come on the air in about 30 days, and the 3 originals were Stan Lane, Bobby Eaton, and Dennis Condry. And
My money's on Bobby.
one of those I've got on here, and well, it never hurts to bet money. One of those on my caller
Never
ID.
hurts to bet money.
My producer knows which one it is because he thought I was bullshitting him. So I sent him the caller ID. I said, you do realize that if I call him, caller ID don't work. He called me. And as a matter of fact, he's called me 2 or 3 times. So I'm anxious to see how it goes. But he said he wanted 30 days to think about what he wants to say and how he wants to say it. And I told him that was fine. And he told me that he promised me he'd come on the show. I said, well, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm not going to push you on anything. You got something to say, you say it. And if you don't, well, we'll talk about other shit. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see how he feels roughly 30 days, probably about 20 days from now, because I think it was about 10 days ago when I originally talked to him. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see. If Bobby Eaton called, that says a lot. Bobby is considered the nicest guy. Yeah, well, he is very nice. And like I said, 2 of the 3 have verified everything I had to say. And they asked me not to reveal their names yet, so I won't. But 2 of the 3 have verified what I had to say. I have not heard from the 3rd member as of yet, even though the 3rd member, I'm pretty good friends with his lady. Not that way, but I'm good friends.
Look at that.
For this to be your show, Jaguar, I'm doing a lot of fucking talking.
Well, you're the guest.
Oh, I'm the guest. Well, if I'm the guest, then fuck.
Right. I mean, you're the guest of honor. We want to make sure everybody hears.
We want everybody to hear you. Nobody cares about me, and people care about John, but they don't care about me.
I'm pushing the Costco that I spilled earlier today. The Costco sparkling. What flavor is this? 0-calorie black raspberry. Proves I'm not racist. I drink black raspberry.
It tastes as great.
Well, you
as
know,
it's
I interviewed a black porn star today, and
Did you?
that proves I'm not racist either.
Well, I don't know if that gets you off of it. know what state you live in.
Jiggy, you're just a pervert.
Well, that too.
You are a pervert. What was his or her name?
Cali Caliente.
That's a beautiful name. Does she look like she sounds?
She's a big perv magnet.
Big perv magnet.
Yes.
Well, send me a picture and I'll see if she has what it takes to be on the bowling alley.
You know, you should get. I've got a catalog of porn people. You should have a porn person.
I've read a couple of them
on the bowling alley. I know you've read a few of them off the big show.
They didn't seem to like my line of questioning.
I think our very first Christmas with bowling, Christmas with the Starmaker, as I call it.
How many? You've done a couple of those, right? 2 or 3?
I think we've done 3 of them.
I think we've done 3. Yeah.
And we're supposed to do. We'll do our 4th one this year. And
now Rory's my girl. Let's see.
We'll be celebrating.
I don't have any. I do have a fabulous kangaroo story. Is that okay, Jiggy? It's your show.
That's awesome. Tell it.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Fabulous kangaroo story. Do most of you guys here in the room know Al Costello?
Yes.
Okay. Well, when Jimmy first got a VCR, Jerry Lawler let Jimmy come over to his house and he let him record all kinds of matches that were from the Mid-South Coliseum that we didn't get up here. But we got some of the matches, but we were a 60-minute show and not 90. So Memphis got a lot of shit that we never saw. So Jimmy spent a night or 2 at Jerry Lawler's house. I don't know what happened. I'm not even going to talk about it. But Jimmy spent a night or 2 at Lawler's house. He was a young boy. Trying to let you create your own story there. That's all I'm doing. And so Cornette.
Now we know why Jimmy's a weirdo.
Well, that couldn't hurt. So
scarring is already taking place.
Jimmy comes back with these shitload of tapes filled up with all kinds of shit that we had never seen, including bloopers. And the funniest blooper was Al Costello trying to get a rise out of Lance Russell. So the interview's about to start, and he says, well, Al Costello, you and your kangaroos got your hands full down there Tuesday night at the Louisville Gardens when you're going to be facing Cashbox Kent and the Bounty Hunters. What do you got to say about that match? He says, Lance, can I ask you a question? Lance says, sure. He says, Lance, do you know what a windjammer is? And Lance leans in. He says, no, I don't know what a windjammer is. He says, a windjammer is the agonizing screams of a trapped turd.
Jesus.
Lance goes, fucking guys. And Lance goes, fuck. He says, I fucking fell for it. God damn it. So he's mad. Lance is all pissed and everything. And the other one that was funny as shit, but that was the Al Costello one. Do you know what a windjammer is? It's the agonizing screams of a trapped turd.
Jesus Christ.
They're doing an interview for Memphis Television, and the guy, if it had been live, that would have been the funniest fucking thing ever. But they were taped, and Al knew that he could crack Lance up and do it again. But we died because we never got to see anything like that. So that was Al Costello's story. And then Jerry Lawler had to top that one. Jerry Lawler, they were Lance and Jerry, and the state athletic, the not the state athletic commissioner. Oakley likes that one way too much. It wasn't the state athletic commissioner, but it was the state medical doctor who had to he had to give physicals to the wrestlers.
Yeah.
So there's Lance Russell and Jerry Lawler and this doctor from Evansville, Indiana. And they're interviewing him, and he says, well, what's it like? He says, well, yeah. He says, well, we check the wrestlers out, and we give them a thorough examination, and we make sure that they're physically competent and capable to compete in the wrestling shows that night. And Jerry says, yeah, you know what he did to me earlier? He says, doctor, here stuck his finger up my ass, and he pulls his pants down. Right here, doc. Remember when you stuck your finger up my ass?
Jesus.
We have that. It's on video. I don't know if Jimmy ever transferred that to DVD or not, but I've got it on a beta tape in my closet. But yeah, Lawler pulled his pants down, told the doctor he'd go right ahead and stick his finger back up his ass again if he'd like. He said, no, Jerry, I didn't do that. So,
oh, my God.
So the doctor thinks this is really going on the air, and he's trying to explain that, no, I did not stick my finger up Jerry Lawler's ass. And so there was a bunch of
prostate exam.
There was a bunch of shit like that, but those were the two that stood out. Was Lawler. I don't, well, other than shit that you all have seen. Someone wants to know if I've got any Moondog or Larry Latham stories, and Larry, of course, was a great tag team partner with the Honky Tonk Man when it was Larry Latham and Wayne Ferris.
Yes.
And so no, I
by Danny Davis.
I didn't really have any personal stories with them. I'm trying to pick which mic I want to talk into. I didn't really have any personal stories with them, and I didn't mean it. Hang on here. We might have a guest coming in. Let me see. We got another Patreon member that might be wanting to come in here. So give me a second. But no, I don't really have any Larry Latham stories other than I watched him quite a bit.
I met a Moondog, although he wasn't a Moondog.
You're ready.
In Dyersburg, Tennessee, when I was down there a few years ago.
Dyersburg, Tennessee is what we used to call it.
They had this guy who was a Moondog who was wrestling on the show, and at the intermission he was sitting at the gimmick table, and I went over and I said, oh my God, a Moondog, I gotta interview you. And he goes, well, I'll do the interview. But he goes, I'm not really a real Moondog.
Well,
he asked if he could touch his bone.
Did that change the context of the interview?
No, because I pumped it up like I always do. Or I'm like, I'm sitting here with real Moondog. You know, I put him over and everything because that's what I do.
Donald Lord wants to know if the doctor had both hands on Jerry Lawler's shoulders when he gave him the prostate exam.
Jesus Christ.
No, that was Steve Bannon.
That was Steve Bannon. That's right.
Well, my guest is not going to make it in time because he's driving home. Okay, I understand.
And I bet I know who that was. Rico Costantino. No.
Yeah, that was Rico Costantino. He was a guest. We were going to bring him in, and he's 40 miles from home. 6 days on the road. He's going home tonight. So there we go. So no Rico tonight. We will probably sign off of here before then. We're at 9:05. We've been going about an hour. I'll go another 30 minutes if you guys want to. It's up to you.
Well, John, do you got anything for bowling? The biggest star in the business. Don't believe him, just ask him, he'll tell you.
Hey, just ask around.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we already know that.
Fishing a hurricane.
Did you ever see
Starmaker
any of the stuff where George Goulas tried to get his own promotion going and things? Did you ever listen to him try to do commentary? I didn't think George was that bad in the ring, but my God, he sounded like a special needs kid trying to do commentary.
I thought he was a special needs kid in the ring. So
well, I mean, there's people that were worse. But, I mean,
all right, name me 5 people that were worse than George Goulas in the ring.
Billy Simmons. Oh, you didn't mean locally.
No, I don't mean locally.
You're trying to get us killed here, aren't you, Jiggy?
Flex Reed.
There were some pretty sorry
Mangler
guys on Memphis TV.
Let me make a disclaimer. Sorry, Billy Simmons, but you must fucking suck.
Yes! We're going to isolate that and send it to him.
I do have a
Flex Reed.
I do have a great kabuki story, but it involves Mark Henry.
Great kabuki.
Somebody remind me to tell that story, but it's a great kabuki story that involves Mark Henry that we thought was funny as shit. Me and Chris got a big kick out of it.
Hold on, writing this down.
What's that?
Great kabuki.
Kenny, did you see Rick Bassman challenge Jimmy to a
Oh
fight?
yes.
No.
Oh, I've seen that.
I haven't seen it, but what's funny is about a month ago we had Rick Bassman on this show.
Rick,
I don't know, a couple months back. He was on first.
well, Rick Bassman's now going to be on my show because he sent me a friend request.
That's awesome.
And if he challenged Jimmy to a fight, I ain't seen Jimmy be able to beat up his pillow yet, so I would do that. My money's on
So
Bassman.
Jimmy's not able to bite his pillow? What?
I've never seen Bassman throw a punch, but my money's on him just if he's breathing. I got money on Bassman.
He's breathing.
Yeah, if he can breathe and stand upright, my money's on
Didn't we
Bassman.
have Bassman on after Russo?
Yes. Yes.
Somebody has to explain who Bassman is. I did not meet him, but I think Rico and Cena worked for him.
Probably did.
Before they developed with us. I think both of them worked for Bassman, I think. And
Yeah,
so
UPW. Bassman was the guy that helped. Bassman was the guy that helped get together and had Power Team USA. It was before he started shaving his head completely, but he was the guy with Sting, the Ultimate Warrior, and the two other guys.
Yeah.
And got Warrior and Sting here and over there in Memphis area.
Right. Okay.
And then he was also very instrumental with a lot of the guys like, oh God, who was the big Puerto Rican kid he had that was on WWE for a while for the ECW thing? God, I can't think of his name.
I can't name you who all I managed more or less anyone else. And again, I had 50.
Can't remember. He actually got a push for a little while, but he was like Nunzio's bodyguard for a bit.
Nunzio's
Or
body.
Little Guido, whatever you want to call him. But
I can't place who it is, but
I can
so those
picture
were some of the guys.
his name.
repeat that, Oakley.
Yeah, I just can't.
I can picture who it is, but I just can't think of his name for the life of me right now.
All right, my girlfriends are
Yeah,
still writing me because it's morning in the Philippines. So hang on here. I do this on every show. I got to let my girlfriends know what's up. Honey, I'm doing my show right now, and I'll be done in about 30 minutes.
Guido? No.
No, Guido's not my girlfriend.
No.
Honey, I'm doing my show right now, and I'll be done in about 30 minutes.
Damian Stone?
No,
I don't
Damon
know.
Stone's not his girlfriend either.
No, he was a tall kid. It was like Sean something or whatever when he wrestled out in California.
Honey, I'm doing my show right now, and I'll be done in about 30 minutes.
Nunzio.
That's girlfriend number 3. Yeah, 3 of them out of the way. Uh-oh. All right, girlfriend number 4 is not awake yet.
Maybe it
Okay,
was maybe it was the midget who masturbated into the trash can. He'll be on our show next week. Puppet.
Yeah, you can have the midget that masturbated to garbage. He won't be on this show. We got
Puppet.
decency over here.
Well, Puppet is going to be on our wrestling show next week. So
Oh goodness.
So
He-
what story?
he really wanted to be on with you tonight. He sent me a thing. He's like, "You're going to be
did he?
talking to Bolin?
What's his name again?
I got to go on with Bolin." Puppet.
Was it?
What's his name?
Puppet.
Puppet.
He was one of the bloody midgets back in the day.
And he wanted to be on with me tonight.
He was all wanting to be on with you, and I
He's
said
He's
no.
one
I
of
said,
the hardcore midgets or whatever.
Well, I had a hardcore midget as Mini B. His name
Well,
was.
he was
And he was a cage fighting midget, and he was my clone, Mini B. I carried a
Mini
lunchbox.
had a cup of coffee with TNA if I remember right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But
At
yeah.
the very beginning, he was with
think
TNA for a little bit. At the very beginning.
If you want to send him that join link and let him come in for a few minutes, I don't care. Go ahead.
"Okay, I'll send it over to him.
Being as Rico can't make it, let's get the little guy in here.
Let's get the midget in here."
Can you call him?
You got a little guy, you got a giant.
Got a little guy and a giant. Yeah. I got
Well,
a
I
little
tried to get Julio Rivera to do a run in, but he
Oakley got heat with Kevin
jeez.
Nash because he stood beside him and said, "You're not 6'7" or whatever he was trying to claim the height he was."
6'9", actually. He
Yeah,
was claiming 6'9". I'm 6'7".
he was claiming 6'9", and you were looking eye to eye
claiming
with him.
6'9".
He ain't 6'9", I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I know Kevin. We talked to him in the back in the Louisville Garden several times, and matter of fact, he told my son to skip school to come to Cincinnati to watch them wrestle when they were going up to Cincinnati. I said, well, no, we won't make Cincinnati tomorrow because Chris has school tomorrow. Well, goddamn, skip school. How many times do you get to hang out with Kevin Nash backstage at the WWE? I said, Chris looks his dad. I said, sell your mom, and we're there. So mom did not let him go. So he was pissed. Dad was,
everyone knows that there's
Dad
actually
was
three.
without him.
Everyone knows there's actually three types of measurements.
Now,
There's
Richard Haskins, I will not have that kind of talk in here. He says midgets are terrifying, and they have venom glands behind their jaws. Man, come on, Richard, you can't be saying that. Cornette has been threatening him and trashing him for it. Well, Jimmy, he's been threatening Russo. He's been threatening. Have you noticed he hadn't threatened me, the guy that was 4 miles down the road from him? Have you noticed he hasn't threatened the guy that was 4 miles down the road from him?
He hadn't threatened the Starmaker.
Yeah, there's a reason he hasn't threatened either one of us. That reason is that if he's got something physical he wants to do to either one of us, there's an open invitation here to Cherokee Road, or we'll come to Urton Lane, Jimmy. It doesn't matter. If ever you decide you're that fucking frog. I notice he always challenges people that are about 3,000 fucking miles away from him. So
I used to have a co-host on Jiggy Jag TV that every week he would challenge someone famous in the media, and he always did it because he knew they would never ever
they'd never do
see
anything.
them. But
I'll do the same thing. Steve Bannon, you coward shit. If you're tough as you think you are, come on down here to Cherokee Triangle where the king lives. They're building a
Cherokee
statue right down the street,
Triangle.
by the way. They tore down that Confederate general, and they're going to rise the Bolin statue. I'm sure I'll be wearing a crown, and I'll be riding a white horse. Anytime you want any fight with me, son, all you got to do is say the word, Steve Bannon, you corduroy wearing motherfucker, and I'll beat you.
Jesus.
There you go.
Well, the thing
to take care of Steve Bannon, I'll see if he shows up.
the thing to finish up on Cousin Chris used to challenging people on Jiggy Jag TV is on like the third or fourth episode. He called out Eddie Money.
Oh,
and
okay.
and he was like, Eddie Money, you make songs about water, and you're a piece of shit, all the stuff.
I would have bet money that Eddie Money wasn't going to show up.
Well, what was funny was about 4 years later, I got to interview Eddie Money. I had forgotten completely about all this. And as we walk out of the bus, he grabs me on the shoulder and he goes, by the way, that Cousin Chris thing was really funny. He's seen it somehow. So, it could happen. Bannon could see this, and it's over for you.
I keep inviting Billy Zane on my show. And he doesn't have all that many more followers. For the guy that was
Billy Zane.
Yeah, for the guy that was in Titanic and Tombstone, he doesn't have all that many more followers than I got. So I think he ought to come on here for some publicity and get his name back out there again. Maybe get in Titanic 2, The Resurrection of the Sunken Ship. I'm on that movie. I think that'll work.
A resurrection of the sunken ship.
The resurrection of the sunken ship. Billy Zane survived. I think that's what we should do. Get Rose and Grandma, who's about 103 on that episode. Let's get them all back on there. Let's get the guy from Tornado. What was that name? Was it called Tornado? What was the movie that Helen Hunt was in? And the guy from Titanic.
Twister.
I knew there was a tornado involved somewhere. It should have been called Tornado. Then I wouldn't have forgot the name of the goddamn movie. Let's see here. Well, so where's the little guy at?
I sent him the link, and he's seen it, so he should be here any moment.
He has seen it. Okay, well, if he shows up, we'll pop him right in here.
Pop in the midget.
We've never had 6 guests on the bowling alley before, so
you probably never had a midget on here either.
Not yet. I mean, I've been some little. Well, I had Johnny Fairplay on.
Well, he counts.
Poor Johnny. Johnny will never come on my show again. God damn it. Well, see, that's the problem when you're a quick thinker. A lot of times they shit you shouldn't have said. So, what do you do? Let's see.
So, when are you going to get this? When is StreamYard going to hire you? Since you're always pimping their product.
You plugged me on Twitter today talking about the StreamYard should get me some something. Yeah, I plugged the shit out of them. Well, isn't this easy though? Isn't this just?
This is a hell of a deal. This is a hell of a gimmick.
I have the $25 a month plan. The only reason I don't take the $49 a month plan is that it would let me broadcast on Twitch. If you got the $50 plan, you can broadcast on 8 sites at the same time. Well, I don't have 8 other sites, and I've barely started Twitch. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing on
Oh,
there.
Twitch.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on with Twitch.
If you say it's a pain in the ass. Now Russo's on there making good money. He told me what he's making, but I can't say. But he's doing all right. I mean, it's a pretty good found money he's making on Twitch. But he says he's doing 111 shows a month.
Oh,
I
yeah.
ain't doing 111 shows a year. So
I'll tell you, when I tried to get Russo on, I started trying to get him on about a month and a half ahead of time.
Oh, did you?
And he just was always busy because he's doing
you just call
a
me
billion
out of the fucking blue
shows.
and not sometimes answer the phone. I mean, I got to start playing harder to get.
I just take a shot at it. We do a thing. We just pick up Skype and we just hey, look, Kenny's there. The last time we had you on, you were on with Omar Oso.
First time you got him on, and I was like all thrilled to death.
Yeah, I remember that. Because I didn't know you at that time. Stephen King, what's going on down in Texas? Do you still is the pandemic obviously hasn't got you, but apparently it killed your barber.
It did, and my hair turned red.
And your hair turned red. How did you do that?
I was so hot that I went outside today and it
Yeah?
just burned. Just turned red.
I figured you was only eating beets or something down there, and maybe that was the problem.
Only eating beets.
I
Well,
was,
you do know that Waco, Texas, is the home and the land and the manufacturer, Waco, Texas, of Big Red soda.
Really?
Yeah, not a lot. See, not a lot of people know that. Maya was shocked that I knew where Big Red was manufactured.
Big Red soda down there with
I like it.
It's such a big deal in Kentucky. She assumed it was made here, but no. And you know why that I always thought it was a big deal about it being manufactured in Waco, Texas? I used to read the Big Red bottles, and it said manufactured in Waco, Texas, back when I was 9 or 10 years old. Well, the wacko from Waco, the guy that the Branch Davidian,
wacko from Waco.
fucking place to the ground.